a follow-up video to the vegan chocolatey water ganache refrigerator biscuit cake thingy that I made the other day. That was only vegan by coincidence rather than actually being planned to be vegan. It didn't work out just how I wanted it, and I think having a think about it, what I thought was the problem was that the water and chocolate ganache that I made, or chocolate and water ganache that I made, was still warm, was still too warm when I was building the refrigerator cake. So it tasted nice and it worked out kind of quite well. And on a side note, by just using water, it brought out different flavours in the chocolate. So it tasted a lot nicer than you would imagine. You just kind of go, water, that's not very nice. But it brought out flavours in the chocolate that you would potentially be masked if you were to use something like cream or butter. So that was kind of quite interesting. So what I thought I'll do, I've already been playing around with chocolate. That's why that's a mess. I'm just not gonna. It's the same thing that's gone in there. That's going to go in now, so I'm not going to wash it up. I can't see the point in making washing up for myself. I seem to spend my life with my hands washing up and drying up things, and it gets a bit annoying after that. So I've done it. I'm not going to wash it up. I'm just going to use the same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the ganache again. So it's going to be 200 grams of chocolate. We're going to smash that up. Which, if this is the first video you've watched on this, then I'll kind of go through it quickly. So leave the chocolate in the packet. It's just cheap chocolate, cheap dark chocolate. I'm not going to say, I don't think milk chocolate will work for this, but anyway, cheap dark chocolate. And what you do is just to break it up, you don't need to open it to break it up. You just need to hit it with something, and that'll crack up all the chocolate inside the container. And then so it's going to be 200 grams of chocolate. Poured into there. Oh, I might have all some water. And then it's going to be 200 grams of water on top of the chocolate. Actually, you don't need to hear the kettle boiling. And then I've got it over a pan of hot water. Just because what we need to do is you need to make sure there's not just enough heat in the 200 grams of water that we're going to add, just to entirely melt the chocolate properly. So we need to put it over a bain-marie. A bain-marie is a pan of simmering water, which will heat the chocolate and the water and make sure that the chocolate is completely melted and it's not grainy. If it's not properly melted, it's a little bit grainy. So I'm melting it fully, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it cool down. I'm going to stir it occasionally, let it cool down to it's a more, it hasn't set, but it's still kind of a lukewarm kind of temperature rather than hot. And then we're going to put the biscuits and the chocolate in the container, and then it'll work better, I'm sure. But everything, as always with me, is a bit of an experiment, and I tend to faff and make it up as I go along, and then things must have turned out all right. So this is you need to put this on heat. I'm not going to show that because I'm not. So it's going to go on the gas. It's going to have some heat underneath it, so the water's going to simmer. Chocolate's going to melt. I'm going to put some water in with the chocolate, and it'll make a sauce. I'll come back and we'll show you what that looks like. And then I'm going to cool that. I'll just let it go cold slowly and mix it now and again, and then we're going to layer it up. So that's my basic thought, and I think it should work this time. I think it'll be quite successful as well. But we'll see how we go, as always. Right. So the chocolate is now melted. It's still kind of quite warm. I don't know if the camera's picking up, but as you can see, as I stir it, there is steam coming off it, so that's way too hot to be adding it to the container with the biscuits. So we'll take it away from the water and we'll let it go cold. Give it a stir over time to make sure that everything kind of mixes in together, and then when I think it's back to, I think like blood temperature, I think is going to be like a good idea. So about 37 degrees, something like that. 40 degrees, something like that. I think that'll be a good temperature. We'll see. The viscosity of it will change. So when it becomes slightly thin at the moment, a perfect sauce consistency, but it needs to be a little bit thicker than that. So as it cools, it'll thicken, and then we'll be able to make a better job of the refrigerator cake. So cool it for a bit over time, It will cool down quick if I put it in another container, but I don't want to do that because I'm like that'll make washing up. So we'll see how we go. So I'll just stir it now and again, come back, and then we'll come back when it's a little bit more thick, and we can build a cake. So chocolate has cooled, and it's getting thick now. So you can kind of see that's certainly a lot thicker than it was when it was melted. I don't want to cool it anymore because I think it'll start to set soon, and that's not what we want. So we're basically going to put some. We're going to build the biscuits in layers. So if you imagine, what we're going to do is we're going to. That doesn't quite fit in there, so we're going to have to cut some of the biscuits like that. What's a little bit more off. So I'll kind of show you what we're going to do without putting some chocolate in, so I don't make a mess of things. I'm going to build the chocolate and biscuit layers up. In fact, will that fit in there? That's a bit too small. I'm not sure how much biscuit I'm going to use yet. I'm going to use as much biscuit as I have to, but weight-wise, I don't know. I don't know just yet. So we'll cut that right off there, and then basically going to build a bit of a wall. So that'll be the first layer, and then the second layer, I'll put the biscuits in a different configuration. So it will be kind of quite strong. So there'll be a biscuit that goes there, and half a biscuit that goes there. So there'll be a biscuit over the gaps, if that's kind of what I'm trying to say. So there'll be like a biscuit there, there'll be a biscuit there, and then the half bits will go in between. So we'll build it up so it's like a rough kind of pattern. Yeah, so biscuits out, chocolate in first. It's getting rather quite thick as this chocolate, which I think so it will work a bit better. Alright, so squish the biscuits down. Don't want any air pockets. So that can go up there like that. That can go there like that. And then we want biscuit there, biscuit there, and then another layer of chocolate, and then more biscuits on top of that. So we'll have to remember. So we want squish that over there, squish down. Actually, we want that over there, don't we? Yes. See, I've messed up already. So that there. That one there. A little bit more chocolate in there. I shouldn't be licking my fingers, but I am. And then we want we want the biscuits to go in there, like that. And the biscuits go in there like that. And then will that fit in there? Ah yes, that will fit in there. That's okay-ish. So rip that off there. And jam that in there. Could have done to be a bit thinner, but it'll be fine. And just a bit of chocolate in there. We'll put in that bit like that. And then so we'll build up the layers as we go, fill in all the gaps. You'll see when I cut into it what it looks like. But I want like a random pattern as I go up. So then another layer of chocolate. Probably going to give it a bit of squeeze down as well, a push down, so we can get more. So it's not all just chocolate. There's quite a lot of biscuit in there as well. But I want some nice layers in between, so it looks a bit like a brickwork. So I've forgotten how the biscuits want to go, but we'll just kind of guess. How was that? Oh yeah, so half biscuits over that size. Watch hands. We'll pause the video, and I'll finish off. You get the idea. You get the idea, and you just want to build up the layers until you've run out of chocolate or you've run out of biscuits. Hopefully you want to run out of chocolate rather than biscuits, because you want more biscuits in than chocolate. But we'll see. So we'll come back when I'm almost finished. Right, so as you can see, we're now at the top and we're running out of chocolate. So I want it to be completely encased in chocolate. There was 160 grams of biscuits. So we'll weigh what biscuits we've got left, and then we can do a proper recipe. We've pressed it down quite a bit. Because we have, I always say we, there's only me. Because I have cooled the chocolate, the biscuits aren't floating like a raft. So when I've made this before, we had to press, I had to press the biscuits down to stop them wanting to float to the top. We don't have to do that this time, because the biscuits aren't want to float. My only concern is that the biscuits won't soak up as much of the liquid from the chocolate this time, but we'll see. So this might be a little bit crunchier to cut through. So like, if you imagine the water from the chocolate soaked into a lot more of the biscuit last time. I don't know if that will happen this time. We'll have to see. It might be locked into the chocolate sauce a little bit too much. So there might be I might have cooled it too much. So there might be like a happy medium of temperature of chocolate. So I don't know what's happening with the lights tonight. But anyway, so we'll press down a little bit. So we can, but I think we'll be okay. It just might be the biscuit might be a little bit harder and the chocolate might be a little bit softer this time. But we'll see. So what I'm going to do, give that a bang, and then if there's any air pockets, see we've got some air pockets wanting to pop up. Press the biscuits down. I'm not looking for perfection, I never am. See how that goes. We'll put the lid on it. Comes with a handy lid. It's just an old margarine container that I used for when I was making some cakes. I used some cheap baking fat. So it's just something that everyone's kind of got to have. We'll put this in the fridge. We'll leave it overnight and see what it looks like in the morning. Let's pop those two bubbles. I might need to just bang it some more. Doing this just makes, if there's any trapped air, it's just going to come to the surface. So we'll get a nicer finish. It's quite a bit of trapped air. Pretty much like burping a baby, but there we go. Or an adult. Still bits of air coming to the top. That'll do. I'm not going to do it anymore. We'll see how that goes. The ginger nuts are tougher biscuits as well. There's a more snap to them as well. I suppose they're called ginger snap biscuits in the rest of the world. We call them ginger nuts in this country. But anyway, that's it. We'll put it in the fridge, put the cover on it, and we'll have a look at it. We'll see what it looks like in the morning. So it's set overnight. It's quite soft. Still, I think that'll be nice to eat. It might just not turn out particularly well, or turn out particularly well, rather than it being, it'll be delicious, because it's chocolate and biscuits. What's not to like about that? But I'm not entirely sure that it will turn out onto the container and look particularly pretty. But we'll see. So this is hot water, which will just melt the chocolate around the outsides and on the bottom, and it should then just slip out of the container onto the plate. And then we'll pause the video, move the camera, and then have a look. So hopefully, just plop out. Damn. Oh, okay, that's not so bad. We can make that look prettier. So we'll just smooth that over. Move the camera, and then we'll give it a. That's not so bad. That's not so bad. Okay, so need some hot water in there. So I'll move the camera. It looks kind of nice and shiny. I'll move the camera and we'll have a look. I'll pause. I won't stop. Now, camera's falling over and stopping, and so I stopped it instead of paused it because the camera keeps falling over. So it looks impressive. It's nice and shiny. It looks nice and soft. I think. Well, that side's nicer. So hot knife. Well, hot water. Have your knife in it, and then it just cuts through things just that little bit easier. And we'll see how it turns out. So, ooh, I think we're going to be okay. Cool. Oh yeah, I need another plate. So let's get that off there. Oh, it's nice and soft. Ah, that looks good. Do you know? Yeah, it's. Do you know? It's soft and it's quite unmanageable, but it looks fudgy and really nice. Yeah, so it makes a mess of the knife, and it's soft. I think that looks good. That's impressive, is that? That looks really nice. I think if you were given that on as a dessert with a bit of cream and some fruit, I think you'd be really impressed with that. It looks nice, so you can see how it's like a brick wall effect, and it'd be like all that all the way through. So you just make sure that the biscuits cover the gap so it looks like a brick wall. You know what a brick wall looks like. So yeah, I think that's a success. So we'll taste. Yeah, I think that'd be nice. I'm not sure if it's vegan because it's ginger nut ginger snap biscuits, and I'm not sure if they are vegan, but certainly it's going to work with vegan chocolate, vegan water, that's such a thing obviously, and vegan biscuits, that's going to work. And you never vegan food has a bit of a bad rep, and you can tell that it's vegan in most of the cases. Things that you buy when something is vegan, you can tell that it's vegan, whereas you wouldn't. This is vegan by not accident, but it's I don't know. It's like a happy accident. It just it's one of those things. It happens to be vegan type of thing, rather than it being purposely vegan. But you'd eat that, and you'd kind of go. And people who were very against vegan food would still eat that, and vegans would eat that as well, and be kind of go, oh, that's delicious, it's that. But anyway, so there you go. That's a success. I'll write the recipe. It was like 240 grams worth of biscuits, and it was 200 grams of chocolate, and it was 100 grams of water. So dead easy. Anyone can make that, and I haven't tasted it yet. It might be awful. No, that's really nice. That's really, really nice. A success. A little difficult to work with, as in like it's quite soft, but still works well. Just don't, when you turn it out of the container, don't have it in the water too long, because it wants to melt too much of the chocolate on the outside. But apart from that, a complete success. Well done me.